I told you this was coming. I told you this was coming. But as it turns out, Uncle Casey's prediction was only partially correct. Not even Uncle Casey could have predicted the magnitude of this disaster. Well, Uncle Casey, are you talking about the lovers' quarrel between Elon Musk and Donald Trump? No. To be honest with you, I don't know what the hell's going on with Lonnie and Donnie. Donnie is claiming that Lonnie is mad over some doofus EV mandate. I like Elon Musk, but I don't really like his cars. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I prefer cars that require fuel. I don't want to plug in my car at night next to my cell phone. If I run out of gas, which never happens, but if I happen to run out of gas, I can call someone to bring me a gallon of gas. I can't call someone to bring me a 3-pronged electrical socket that's wired to power. Anyway, Lonnie is fighting back, claiming that Donnie is on the list of Epstein. It's absolutely ridiculous. It reminds me of the marriage between Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Hey, it's me, Shay Shay! Two grown men arguing and fighting on social media. I expect that kind of behavior from the cast of The Real Housewives of Chihuahua. I don't expect that kind of behavior from two grown men. If Donnie and Lonnie have a problem with each other, settle that shit privately. Don't argue about it like two yentas on social media. Unfortunately, Donnie and Lonnie, they're not the only two fighters today. There is a fight happening at CNN. Their primetime hosts are fighting for the attention of the dozens of people still watching this dump of a network. And for Kaitlan Collins in particular, Katie Roo! For the girl named Roo, she could potentially be fighting for her job, at minimum, her spot in prime time. I have been telling you guys for months that it would not be long before Rue was being outdrawn in the ratings by the American hero Scott Jennings. I am a real American. Several weeks ago, it started happening in the key demo. The American hero was outperforming Rue with viewers between the ages of 25 and 54, which is unbelievable when you think about it. No offense to the American hero, but Rue is a hell of a lot easier on the eyes. If I'm shopping at Publix and I see Rue's face on the side of a spoiled milk carton and Scotty's face on the grade A carton, even though I know the milk is spoiled, I'm still picking Rue. I would much rather look at her face when opening the refrigerator. And I don't drink milk anyway, so the contents inside the container being spoiled makes no difference to me. Unfortunately, though, for Rue, she's no longer just being outperformed in the demo. The American hero is now beating her in the overall ratings. But it gets worse. It gets much worse. If you look at the afternoon and primetime lineup at CNN, it's like looking at a missing persons report. Or the starting lineup for a team in the WNBA dump. Listen to this lineup at CNN. Casey Hunt, unrecognizable. Jake Tapper, embarrassing failure. Someone named Burnett, missing since 2011. Andy Cooper, often mistaken for Andy Cohen. Rue, steaming poo. Phillip, gender unknown. Coates, also known as Polish, our premier turd polisher. When reading this lineup at CNN, you would think you're at an owl convention. Who, and who? There could be no clouds, not a single cloud in the night sky, and you still couldn't find a star at this network. But somehow, Kaitlan Collins has managed to achieve the impossible. Somehow, at a network with a complete lack of star power, at a network where Rue was given, keyword, given, She was given the most important time slot in prime time. She was relentlessly promoted. CNN had Rue appearing on late night talk shows. She was a guest with Bill Maher. And somehow, even with all of that free promotion, Kaitlan Collins has managed to find a way to finish dead last in the ratings at a network that can't draw flies to a fresh turd. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel's in the description below. Today on the second channel, talked about Stephen A. Smith potentially overexposing himself. You got to admire his work ethic. Stephen A. is an absolute machine, but I'm starting to think Charles Barkley was right. Stephen A. is giving people too much of Stephen A. Yesterday, we talked about the dump struggling without Caitlin Clark. Tomorrow here on the main channel, I might go into further detail on that. When I was rambling in the video earlier this morning on ESPN, I noticed that the WNBA has kind of fallen off since Caitlin Clark was injured. And I'm not just talking about ratings. I'm talking about overall mainstream exposure, or in this case, the complete lack thereof. Anyway, click the link in the description, subscribe to the second channel. Appreciate all of you guys who already have. Headline at Variety. CNN bets more of Kaitlan Collins' White House news hustle can power the source. What? CNN thinks moving this dump from New York City to Washington, D.C. is gonna be enough to revive it? You could put a rocket up this show's ass and use the boodle breeze from the whoopee cushion to turbocharge it, and this dump still wouldn't take off. When I was researching this story, I was expecting to see reports of CNN questioning their decision to keep the Rue in prime time. What makes them think moving the show to Washington is going to improve ratings? Well, KC, it means she can bring high-profile guests in studio. They can get into fiery debates, or Rue could sedate them with her lack of charisma. According to Variety, CNN's hoping that a change of scenery will benefit Rue. They're hoping something described as the kinetic presentation of the show will remind viewers of Rue's unique place at the network. Yeah. Well, Rue damn sure occupies a unique place at CNN. It's called Last Place. Tuesday night, Rue drew 473,000 viewers in prime time, 126,000 in the key demo. Now, I am sure Rue smiled when she saw her number in the demo. I'm sure it was a pleasant surprise to see 3 numbers in front of the comma. But 473,000 in prime time? That is a flaming ass fire. Rue was beaten by everyone at the Cemetery News Network who still has a pulse. Andy Cooper, 500,000. Someone named Burnett, 506,000. Jake the Bongo Tapper, 497,000. And as Uncle Casey predicted, the American hero Scott Jennings, he beat the Rue by drawing 529,000 viewers, 139,000 in the demo. You know, this isn't how it's supposed to work. Rue is supposed to elevate the primetime lineup. She's not supposed to sink it. CNN's focusing on all the wrong things. Changing locations, that's not the answer. You could have Rue broadcasting from the beaches of Malibu in a bikini, and it's not going to solve her ratings problem. Kaitlan Collins has the exact same problem that she had when she accepted this job 2 years ago. It's the same problem that she had when she was working with Don Lemon on CNN This Morning. Remember that cat fight a few years ago when Rue was reportedly crying backstage? She kept interrupting Don Lemon live on the air. She kept interrupting him to give her opinion, which no one gave a shit about. And Don Lemon had to politely remind her in a very aggressive way. Donnie had to remind Rue that He was the star. No one is watching this show because of Rue. The Rue was a member of the supporting cast who mistakenly believed she was the star of the show. The situation, it was eerily similar to what we see with Molly Karam right now on First Take. Maybe Stephen A. Smith should hire Don Lemon to give Molly a reality check. But anyway, the Rue has the same problem. The harsh truth is, Kaitlan Collins just isn't that interesting. Kaitlan Collins has no charisma. You can't just read off a teleprompter and expect people to watch. For starters, viewers watch people they believe they can trust. Unfortunately for Rue, she is working at a network that very few people trust. But even if you're not trustworthy, viewers are still willing to watch as long as you're interesting, entertaining, which is a severe struggle for Kaitlan Collins. Joy Reid was an absolute disgrace, but at least she was an interesting disgrace. Don Lemon was a maniac, but Donnie knew how to get your attention. When you look at stars in cable news, most of them have something that they're known for. Bill O'Reilly, he was the no bullshit guy. Sean Hannity, he's known for his obsession with the Trumper. I haven't seen a man crush this severe since Skip Bayless and his obsession with LeBron James. Greg Gutfeld, he's the goofball. Bill Maher, he's known for his dry humor. Joy Reid was known for creating racism. Rachel Maddow, she was the thinker. Whether you agreed with her or not, Rachel Maddow made you think. Laura Ingraham, she is known for Shut Up and Dribble. Scott Jennings, he's known for being the American hero. In one way or another, these people found a way to make a name for themselves. When you hear their name mentioned, you automatically think of something. So, what is Kaitlan Collins known for? Besides being a huge embarrassing failure in the ratings, what is she known for? Name one segment from her show that you remember. Hell, name one thing. It could be anything. Name one thing that you remember about Kaitlan Collins. You see where I'm going here? You know why you don't remember anything about Rue? Because she hasn't done anything memorable. Derek Carr is hated in New Orleans, but at least he's hated. At least he found a way to make people feel something. Whether you're loved or hated really doesn't matter. You just want people feeling something. The last thing you want is the feeling that Kaitlan Collins gives people. The last thing you want is indifference. Give me your thoughts on this. Kaitlan Collins finishes last place in primetime ratings at CNN. They moved locations, hoping that would boost ratings, but I don't think it's going to help. Is there anything that can be done to save this primetime dump? Me personally, I think the problem is the host, which is something I was saying before Rue even took the job. But you tell me. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.